Welcome back to Squawk Box this morning. There is a new era of greater worker power, higher housing costs, and major changes to how Americans do business. And it's all due to pandemic-induced changes. That's according to our next guest, Heather Long, economics correspondent at the Washington Post. Her latest piece is titled, "The Economy Isn't Going Back to February 2020. Fundamental Shifts Have Occurred." Heather, it's great to see you this morning. It's a fascinating piece. There's so many different elements of how you break down what's happening in the economy. But I actually want to start, if I could, oddly enough, with lumber and housing, because you talk about both. And while lumber had gone on such a ride, it's clearly come down. But you have a pretty interesting insight, which is that on the ground, it's not actually going to change that soon, because so many housing suppliers have bought that lumber at such high prices.
Yeah, that's certainly what I heard as I called around to home builders on the ground, that on the Bloomberg terminal, the prices are coming down, but they will not see those from their suppliers, or if you're going to a Home Depot, probably till the end of the summer. Most people expecting more like August or September. I thought the other insight that I heard that really surprised me is that a lot of these home builders have been changing their behaviors. For instance, a home builder in Savannah, Georgia told me for the first time in over 40 years of building houses, he changed his standard contract this spring to no longer guarantee the price of a home or the timeline. It used to be, where they'd be pretty close to a certain date. He said, now we write in all contracts that we can unilaterally extend those deadlines or raise those prices. And I don't, is he really going to change those contracts after the summer, even if the price comes down? I think this is more of a permanent shift in how prices are set, at least in that part of the economy.
The other thing that you talk about and write about is this idea that housing prices obviously have gone up, that you think they continue to go up, and that it starts to actually hit the renting market, which it hasn't thus far, it doesn't look like.
Yeah, that's correct. I will say this is one of the more controversial parts of the piece. I've heard from a wide range of people on this issue. I have also heard that from some White House officials are particularly worried about rent. Obviously, a huge part of people's budget, particularly on the low-income side. You can see a scenario playing out where these high home prices are, of course, keeping some people from being able to be first-time buyers, sort of priced out of the market. So that could potentially cause more renters and going forward than we might have expected. We've also seen these dynamics of high home value purchases by investment firms and others who are now trying to rent those homes. And it was notable that those CoreLogic data were showing over a 5% increase already in April on single-family home rentals. Some people argue to me, yeah, but there's been a lot more high-end apartment stock come on in, say, New York and Washington, D.C., and some of the big cities across the country. But I think what's different this time is we're seeing these potential rent increases and home price increases in second and third tier cities, in the Charlottes of the world, and the Austin, Texas. And that we haven't seen quite as badly, or Boise, Idaho, is what we're seeing now.
And Heather, what do you think the long-term implication of that is? I mean, are you arguing this is a bubble? Are you arguing that this is a permanent shift in how we work these cities, which had been, I don't want to say unloved, but maybe are being loved more? And then, of course, there are what are described as Zoom cities, people that are going to work from places far away from major cities. I mean, do you think that's a permanent shift, or do you think that ultimately it returns to what it looked like a couple of years ago, and therefore there's going to be a big rise and a big fall?
Well, obviously, we're all waiting to see what happens. What I would argue is, I don't think it's going to go back to February 2020. Is it going to be quite as many people working on Zoom and working remotely as what we saw in July 2020? No. But we are clearly going to have more people doing these remote work type situations than what we had pre-pandemic. And that's going to keep these second and third tier cities in a housing crunch. And it's going to take a long time to build more houses, particularly of the first-time home buyer variety.
How much of this is a function of these sort of second and third tier cities, people moving to them because they now think there's an opportunity to work remotely? How much of it is people working in cities or other towns where they're going to work on a hybrid approach, but now decide if you're going to actually be working from home 2-3 days a week or whatever it's going to be, you actually need more space.
Yeah, everybody wants a yard now. We'll see if we have more gardening shows going forward, like in the UK. I think for me the biggest shift, and we haven't really gotten to this one yet, is I've been calling it the great reassessment of work in America. What I hear over and over again, and I talk to unemployed folks and workers every day, from both high-end workers and low-end workers who were in retail or restaurants pre-pandemic, is I want something fundamentally different. The past year totally changed my life. For some people, it's I want more time with my kids or with my aging parents, and that's why I'm moving to a different city where I think there's better life balance in some of those smaller cities, and I can leave the office at 5 and not get nasty looks. Or it's low-income workers saying, my life is worth more. I don't want to work in certain conditions. I want to pursue my dream of doing the arts or doing education or working in real estate in a different sector.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.